Oh, goodness, swear.
Oh, we're going to start at Mary's tomb.
Okay, this is the Garden of Gethsemane. Nobody questions. This is the Garden of Gethsemane. The gut press. Gethsemane is gut press. What's gut? Gut is olive. The olive press is the Garden of Olive Presses because of the olive trees that grow here naturally. Nobody questions. This is the Garden of Gethsemane. Okay, in the Garden of Gethsemane, we have who's buried down here? Mary. Mary, the mother of Jesus.
So what's the red roof over there in relation?
That's a little outside building.
Okay.
The tomb of Mary is just to the right of it, below.
All right.
Go down and down and down and down.
Okay.
The building behind it, the old building behind it, that's Anne's tomb. Anne, the mother of Mary, the grandmother of Jesus. Okay?
Got it.
Who was else? Because this was the family plot. The family, because they were incredibly wealthy, owned a family plot in the Garden of Gethsemane, the most prestigious land in the world. Right here, right outside the Eastern Gate. Who owned this property? The wealthiest people. Who were the wealthiest people? They had to be priests and they had to be wealthy. Anne had the sole family business of selling the saffron for the sacrifices in the temple. Saffron is not as expensive as gold, but it's close. The saffron grew in this area only in Bethlehem Ephrata, the priestly city. You find the saffron, you find the six-leaf rosetta, the six-leaf crocus flower with the saffron in the middle, you know you found Bethlehem Ephrata. Okay? Mary's family was from there. We know that because Mary was from her home was in Bethlehem Ephrata. That's why she had to go there for the census, right? Okay? So they had money. So a person would bring a lamb for sacrifice at the temple. He would go up through this gate. He'd go to the pool of Bethesda, up the top of the hill. And right before the pool of Bethesda, they'd shear the sheep. Then they'd take the sheep down and wash him in the pool, beside the pool, wash the lamb up for sacrifice, bring him back a few feet by Mary's family business, or Anne's family business, which was selling the saffron. That was her priestly inheritance. She sold the saffron for the sacrifice. They sprinkled the lamb with the yellow saffron that they had to buy from Mary. Couldn't get it anywhere else. So Mary's family, Anne's family, had monopoly on this business. Then they would take the sacrifice from there a few feet inside the north gate that enters into the complex right on the north edge of the Temple Mount, where the priest would take the sacrifices, prepare the lambs for the sacrifice. When Jesus was crucified, they tried him in the same place the lambs were prepared for sacrifice. Then they brought him out Stephen's Gate, right here, and crucified him on the hill called Golgotha. Golgotha does not mean the place that looks like a skull. That's not the Hebrew ideal. It means the place where they made skulls. Okay?
How would you make a skull?
Kill a person.
All right.
Right? So they bring they brought him out here, crucified him on the hill, a hill outside the Eastern Gate. The original Eastern Gate was lower. It was just below ground level, what we see now. From the hill, the centurion could see the veil of the temple torn in two from top to bottom, because the gospel records that the earth shook, great earthquake, cloud darkened, and the veil was torn. And the centurion could see all of these things. That's a GPS marker for us again. So Christ was crucified on this, had to be on this hill, had to be, no question about it. We know there was a rock-cut tomb very close by because it was coming on to Shabbat. They had to put him in a tomb. Joseph of Arimathea, which was Anne's brother, we know this from history, Anne's brother said, put him in my tomb. Never been used before because they practiced the ossuary practice during the time of Christ. They put the bones in the tomb for a year, pull them out, put them in a bone box, store them. Okay, so that's what it means. It was a brand new tomb, never been used, cut in the rock. So it had to be on the Mount of Olives, in the Garden of Gethsemane, with a hill close by, at the bottom of the hill, and a rock-cut tomb. Christ had to be crucified, and the centurion could see the veil being torn in two from top to bottom. There's only one place that can be. It's right here. This tomb fits the description perfectly. It all happened. So Mary's family, they were very wealthy because they had the priestly business, the sole monopoly of selling the saffron. Every sacrifice that was brought to the temple had to have sprinkled with saffron You had to buy it from Mary's family. It came from Bethlehem Ephrata. You find the six-leaf rosetta with the saffron in this area. There's only one place it grows naturally, Bethlehem Ephrata, where Mary was from. She was from here. She was buried here. Her family business was up there. It's all right here. And Jesus was crucified right here and buried right here, right outside the eastern gate, where the sacrifice of the red heifer happened in this area as well.
Right there is the eastern gate.
That's the eastern gate. That's the eastern gate.
And the real eastern gate of Christ times exactly below it.
You guys can figure that one out. Of course, that's also prophet Ezekiel that had the prophecy of the 25 men. Ezekiel, I think it is. God showed him
25 men.
Ezekiel 8, I think. Going in the north gate. So he took Ezekiel into the north gate, right here, where the sacrifice was. So I can't believe what I saw. Not here, over here. Okay? Can't believe what I saw.
Right there where the iron things are? Is that a gate?
Come on.
Uh-oh.
See the wall over there?
Yeah.
That's where it would have been. Would have been just a little bit south right of here, just on that wall. That's the wall, not here. This is the courtyard where they dropped him off. The north gate into the temple where they brought sacrifice was down here, on that wall. Okay?
Yeah.
Ezekiel said, God said, you're not going to believe this. Watch this. Ezekiel said, God took me over there. There's the men in the gate. You have to, I can explain it to you when I get the text in front of me. There's men worshiping Ishtar in the gate. They're having sex orgies for pay in the gate. In the gate where they took the sacrifice. God said, whoa, that's nothing. Hang on. They go into the court of the women down here. There's the women weeping after Tammuz. You know, Ishtar and Bel's mythological son that had the long locks, big buff guy like Alex, and all tan and toned, and 25 men worshiping Tammuz in the court of the women. These women crying after Tammuz. God said, that's nothing, buddy. Hang on. He said, then I couldn't believe what I saw. I saw 25 men facing east. What's the problem with it? They turned their backs on God to worship the sun God. And the text says that very specifically. Don't ever turn your back on God. So the Jews today, they have a tradition. When you go to the Western Wall, because that's the closest they can get to God, to the temple. When you're done praying, never. 10 steps backwards. Why?
Right.
For that passage, never turn your back on God.
Right.
We brought those same gods into our churches. Easter and Satan calls it Christmas. We brought them right, and they control our churches. And we say, we don't have any gods. You're kidding me, right? You brought them right into the church and God, in what we call God's house. How does God feel about that? Ask the prophet.
Yeah.
Speech from property. He said there all the time. Hey, Sarah, Pilate, you gotta get down and take care of these crazy nuts. They're throwing rocks at each other again. Get down and calm it down. Pilate comes down here and sits, but he's gonna be in the fortress. He ain't gonna be outside the fortress. That's crazy.
The fortress had 4 citadels.
4 towers, yes.
4 towers. One there, one about where we're standing. And it's the one up there where they did the game on Jesus.
Under
Oh,
feet.
it's under it,
Under
right here.
feet. Under
Okay.
feet.
And then
So
there's one tower
here's
that direction.
Here's the ancient road.
Oh, wow.
We're
Yeah.
on top of it.
Yeah.
About 10 feet, 12 feet on top of it. Everything went up. Okay. Got it?
Yep. Mount Zion.
All right, give me the distinction.
The valley. You just walked up that stinking hill, remember? We go down, nice. Down the Moriah. Flat, we go up. Zion. What's on Mount Zion that's important? Micah 4852. Zechariah 9, you got all this stuff.
You haven't taught me this stuff.
I'm gonna preach some sermon then tomorrow. What's on Mount Zion? David's citadel. We'll go right by it. We'll be right by it. I'll show it to you. Can't go in. David's citadel, the little fortress for David when David was king in Jerusalem. Okay, palace over there. But if things got bad, citadel. What's the little David citadel?
Ramat Raquel.
What does the Bible say? Micah 4:8, Micah 5:2. What's the little David citadel? What's the daughter of the stronghold of Zion? What's the daughter of the stronghold of Zion?
My guess would be
Tower of the Flock.
The tower of the flock. David's safe here, David's safe there. Now, if that's true, Micah 4:8, what's the daughter of Jerusalem? The city. Tower of the flocks, the mini-me of Zion. The mini-me of Jerusalem is
Beerhoek.
Bethlehem Ephratah. Why? Had a tower, holy sites, caves, burial chambers, just like here, like there. And they had the holy site of God. David said in Psalms, I want to build a house for the Lord. And I saw it first. I saw the model in Ephratah. What did he see in Bethlehem Ephratah? They gave him the plan for the temple.
The tabernacle.
The tabernacle. It's not that hard. Just read the Bible. But the tabernacle was in the city of David. Maybe we have the boundaries of the city of David wrong. Was it that little 4 or 5 acre plot? Was that all there was to it? Or was it bigger? Is it possible the city of David, the city of the greatest king in the history of mankind, was 4 miles long or more? Well, the markers of the city of David one was found 2 miles beyond our site a few years ago.
Was it up in Bethlehem or past?
One's there. There's one down in on the other side of modern Bethlehem, down by Tekoa. Amos from Tekoa. That's a sheep field on the backside of modern Bethlehem.
That was huge. So basically, Beerhoek is closer to Jerusalem than it is to the lowest markers.
Yes.
So it's highly probable then.
You read the archaeological reports. One of the famous ones that nobody can figure out, because the ancients, I say ancients, the British guys, they talked about the monastery in the Judean desert. Not just the Mary of the Theotokos, Theos God, Tokos bearer, the God bearer. The monastery to the God bearer in the Judean, the monastery of the God bearer in Jerusalem, in the Judean desert. Judean desert's not Jerusalem. Where does it start?
Right outside of the Kidron Valley.
The Judean desert starts at the peak, the point of the Ramat Raquel. Everything this side, no, not desert. Everything that side, desert. Why? Because it's a watershed divide. All the rain stays here. It doesn't get over the mountains over there, over the highest point over the Ramat. Okay, so what's the monastery, the monastery, to the Theotokos, Mary, of Jerusalem, in the Judean desert? And it's at Ramat Raquel, just on that side of the line, in the Judean desert side of the line.
Is that where the basilica was, the monastery was?
There's several.
That we were at yesterday?
There's
or two?
tons of them. No, there's tons of them.
Okay.
We haven't been to Ramat Raquel yet. I'm going to take you up there. And I will show you
Okay.
that the archaeologists wrote in the early days, in the 1800s, the Byzantine monastery to the Theotokos in Jerusalem in the Judean desert. Jerusalem's not in the Judean desert. That part of the Jerusalem district is barely. So was Jesus born in Jerusalem? Yes. Where? Bethlehem Ephratah of Jerusalem. Where did he come to? The Tower of the Flock. In Bethlehem Ephratah, in the Judean desert of Jerusalem. Where did Jesus take off to when he went to heaven? Acts 1. From the Tower of the Flock. On the Mount of Olives. Mount of Olives goes down there. Okay, that forms part of the peak. Ramat Raquel is the highest point, the Ramah of the Mount of Olives. Okay? But the backside is the Judean desert, but still in the Jerusalem district. Where's Jesus coming back to? The Tower of the Flock, Zechariah 9. Same thing. He's coming back to the stronghold of the daughter of the stronghold of Zion. What did I just tell you? What's the Bible say the daughter of the stronghold of Zion is? Stronghold of Zion, right over here, we're going to see it. What's its daughter? The tower of the flock. Jesus is coming back. He came to the tower of the flock, left from the tower of the flock, coming back to the tower of the flock, because it's also on Mount Zion as well.
Is Zion
Tower of the
higher?
Flock is on Mount Zion?
No. It's the daughter of Zion. It's on Mount of Olives. Is that what it says? And the tower of the flock's on the base, the very end of the Mount of Olives, which is also Bethel Ephrata.
Okay.
Is Zion higher than Moriah?
North. Yeah.
Is Samuel higher than Zion?
Oh,
Yeah, it's Ramah.
it's a remote.
As well as Raquel.
Okay.
But Raquel is bottom of Mount of Olives,
Okay.
correct?
Mount of Olives, Mount of Olives, Mount of Olives, boop, Mount of Olives. It means
So the highest point's the bottom of the mountain.
Valley.
Okay. So until you just said this, I was confusing. I thought Zion was another name for Mount Moriah. Obviously, we know
No,
Mount
sometimes God uses Mount Zion euphemistically of all of
Moriah of
this.
the region, same as the City of David thing, where City of David can be this or this.
Yeah.
Got it. Okay.
Please. This is Katisma. Here's the rock that Mary rested on. Before she ascended to the top of the hill, we learned that from history. The Quran also talks about this site. There was a great date palm tree here. Date palm tree gave a lot of shade, so this was a natural rest stop. This is half the rock. The other half of the rock is up in the old city by the Church of the Holy Sepulchre. Because one of the emperors hated it so much, he tried to pull the whole rock up, destroy the site, and he wound up breaking the rock in half, took the other half up there in Jerusalem. Here's half the rock, this big long table rock that Mary rested on. Also the same rock that Rachel died on. How do we know? Because the story of Saul lost his donkeys. He went to Navi Samuel at the Ramah of Samuel, said, "Hey, you see my dad's donkeys?" And Samuel proclaimed the prophecy over him. And then he said, "Oh, by the way, your dad's donkeys, go for me this day down the road, the Patriarch Road, Highway 60 we see right here, 6 lanes paved on top of the ancient Roman road, paved on top of the ancient road of the Jews, the road they took to see the patriarchs down south." So Samuel said, "Go to Zelzak." Why go to Zelzak? Why did he mention Zelzak? Because at Zelzak you turn. Why do you turn there? Because that's the rest stop, that's the shade. So he says, go down the road, and then at Zelzak, on the road coming from Rachel's tomb. That means Rachel's tomb is on a different road, not the Patriarch Road, not down 60, not down where the modern Rachel's tomb is. We come here, you have to turn here at the T road. That's why he mentioned Zelzak. Zelzak means shade. Katisma was the place of shade, the great date palm tree.
And Katisma is Greek and
Katisma is the Greek version, Greek name of this place. Zelzak is the Hebrew version. Very important to understand. Once we understand that, now we have GPS markers for where Rachel died and Rachel was buried. So Rachel would come to this road. All we do is find the ancient road that tees off of this road and follow it. We'll find Rachel's tomb every single time, because that's what the Bible says. So we have to follow the biblical GPS markers. So this is a very important place. So important that Lisa believes this smaller octagonal church here was built by Queen Helena. The larger Byzantine church was built around the church, built around the stone. Date palm tree's gone, but over here, somewhere under this fan, is a mosaic. A very large mosaic of a date palm tree. Let's see, where is this thing? Danny,
Yes, sir.
can you bring a bottle of water?
Got it right here.
Just water.
I'll pour it if you want to video.
That is beautiful. Oh my word.
All these are mosaics here, covered up to protect them. Why are they not in a museum? Why is this site not built up? Because nobody cares. It's all been documented, all been done, but nobody cares. There you go.
So this mosaic, ultimately, if we uncovered the whole thing, do you know what's underneath? You know what
I
the
think
mosaic-
this one's the date palm tree.
Okay.
And there, you can find pictures of it on the internet.
All right.
Incredible. Look, how many people are stopping? Who's here? Nobody. Nobody.
That's the rule. Value when nobody cares.
So, if everything I said is true and correct, this is Katizma, this is Zelzok, then all we have to do is find the ancient road that'll take us straight to Rachel's tomb. Once you found Rachel's tomb, you found all of Bethlehem, Ephrata, where Jesus was born, the Tower of the Flock, the threshing floor, David's well, all correct?
And you mentioned that Mary also.
And Mary rested here according to history before she ascended to the top of the hill. And the Quran tells a story of Mary being here at the same place. So all we have to do is find the ancient road, right? What is this?
Hey, this does look like an ancient road. Almost a modern road for off-roading.
Better than some of our modern roads.
And there's
Here we have the remnants of the ancient road, Alex. Oh, mile marker. Step back out of the shot. Thanks.
So where would the date palm tree have stood?
That stood?
Here?
We don't know. Probably over the rock.
Probably over there.
You get more water?
my goodness. Why would there be a mosaic on this road?
And that's a great question, isn't it, Dan?
That is a great question. I suppose
You
got
don't
a
put
great
mosaics on the road unless you have a very good reason for it.
answer. Yes, sir.
Unless it was to mark something special. Right? Is there anything special about this road? I think
It may lead to a super important place, huh?
it could. It could. Look, Alex. Look. You got pictures of that? Is that a mile marker
I don't know.
or column? I don't know either.
What year would it date to? Any idea?
Well, that's from Roman influence, Greek-Roman influence, Greco-Roman Empire, so we're talking time of Christ. More than likely Roman of some sort. There's much work to be done here.
Yeah.
So much work to be done here.
Yeah.
Nobody cares. Everybody has their beliefs, their traditions, and their three gods. Right?
So again, why would there be a mosaic here? End of the road.
Because there's only one God. Like you said. See how it's covered up?
Why would we put the mosaic right there where it's going to get wore on?
I'm not sure this isn't some kind of, I don't know, it's something. It's interesting.
He's asking about the mosaic in the road. Why?
Right. Because it's marking a special road.
Oh, because it's marking the mile.
No. The mile marker marks the mile. This marks something special. Okay? Mosaics, most mosaics, almost everyone will say, so-and-so is a great guy because he paid to have this floor made. Once in a while, you have a mosaic that marks this is a holy site. It won't say this is Catisma because everybody knows it. But it's going to say something special. But it's in the road. You don't put mosaics in the road. Well, the Byzantines did. Obviously. There it is. So they knew this was something, a sacred holy site of some sort. Not just a Byzantine road.
Follow the road from the T directly to Rachel's tomb.
What are we looking at, Dan?
Something pretty amazing.
It's a pool.
It's a hole in the ground.
It's an ancient pool.
Ancient pool.
Very, very old ancient pool. You know what they call this around here?
No.
Benjamin's Pool. Why Benjamin's Pool?
Because Benjamin was born right over on that rock.
Wow. That's weird. That's another one we need for the... Okay.
Where's the water coming from? Isn't that crazy?
This is in the middle of summer.
Yeah. So it's obviously a spring. Why would you have a spring here?
You're going to refresh some travelers.
You got a pool there.
You got a pool there.
This is a spring that fed the pool for the rest stop called Zazak.
Wow.
Pretty awesome rest stop.
Presence of an ancient spring.
And so we're looking up a road. This is the ancient road. Correct?
I don't know the road's here. I don't know where the road is.
Okay. Well, there's some kind of road in front of us.
No, that's all water.
Oh.
Water and moss, but it's water.
Oh, the whole thing.
Look. It's summer in Israel. Everything's dry. And you got water. Where's this water come from?
And so what are we looking straight up?
Ramat Raquel.
And so Rachel's tomb is up there. Oh, over
Down
there.
at the bottom of the hill.
Okay.
Just over a mile.
So the top of the hill's there. I mean, yeah, of the Ramah.
Yeah, we stayed. The three of us stayed there last year. We're always here for a week. That's the hotel's up there. The archaeological. I'll take you up there later. Herodium, and right behind those buildings, that's where it is.
Gotcha. Straight on this side of Herodium, the man-made mountain.
Mm-hmm.
Is
Where
Rachel's
Herod
tomb.
gave the edict to kill baby Jesus.
And Jesus was born right over there too.
He was right in front. I can't
Right.
find that Jesus. You go find him and kill him. He's right under his nose.
Right under his nose.
Literally. Right out the front door of the palace. Years ago, people in here playing, they damaged it. It's almost hard. It's almost impossible to see now. It was good until about 2 years ago. Alex, we got flashlights?
Yes, I do.
I know exactly where it was, so that helps me out a lot. put stick there just so you can find it if I want something kind of one here.
And if you want less brightness, just pushing it.
Where's my colored ones at?
Put it sideways. Right?
Yeah.
Like
I've got a
so.
colored one that works really well. I'm going backwards. There's a Lamed. Okay. Again, it was much better so you can see. There was a race there. The race got broken off. There was a race here. Paleo Hebrew. Right. You can kind of see. That's the original lineup. Trim and flashlight for you. Thank you, sir. The stick went down like this, and then this way. That's part of the original line right there. And I've got pictures of it before it got damaged. It got damaged. Like I said, last year it was damaged when I came in here. And then the Haith is the easy one to read. The Haith, and then the Lamet is here, which in Paleo Hebrew would be just a straight line. So Rachel. But if that's Rachel, that's almost 4,000 years old. It's rough.
Yeah. Okay. All right, I'll take a picture of it, but
I know. I've seen a lot of inscriptions. This one's.
wait, let me see just so I'll be sure when I'm photographing. That's the area, right? Starting from here to here to here and to here.
It begins right here.
Huh?
Begins right here, moving this way. This is the leftmost point, the edge of that circle. Yes, right there.
All right.
Moving
Here,
across.
Here. Okay.
Tell me when you move my finger.
Yeah, you can move. Okay. This will be the area. Just I'm sinking between them, the light.
Yeah. Amazing.
See, there's smaller things on it. You see? Here. Which would be more convincing, the white stuff. You see this triangle?
No, I can't see it.
Hmm?
I can't see it. Hey, grab my glasses on my bag, will you, Alex? Just in one of those pockets, sir.
Uh-huh.
I'm trying to get my glasses so I can see it better.
Wait, I'll take a few more.
Yeah.
Then I'll
Yeah,
show
let me
you.
get my glasses and we'll look. Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Just a second. I'll take just complete it because it's left it in the middle. See what we get. See? That's the wall. This is the ball, which is my benchmark for light. And you see this thing.
That looks pretty good to me.
Yeah, you see it's dropping it out.
And that's hard because there's just so much on this cave that, you know, like I said, a lot of scratchings
All
in
right.
here.
So we got this one.
Thank you.
What else? You want to take pictures of this thing?
Yeah, but up top?
So the guys are supposed to come tomorrow at 10 to my room.
I
We
don't
got a
know.
meeting with Amit tomorrow in the morning.
Tomorrow morning?
He asked me if I can make a tour for people in the lab.
Ah, so we come to you first.
Probably.
Okay. Your marker fell out.
Huh?
Your marker fell out.
Don't worry.
Okay. Don't want you to lose it. At 10 o'clock?
That's the fun thing about adjustment. It takes time.
Yeah.
Stuff will fall, will come up.
So I'd love to see your lab, Shai. That's a beautiful, beautiful building.
And we'd love to see some pictures of those swords.
We're doing where Amit wants to take you is where we photographed the project of the Dead Sea Scrolls. So we have a multispectral system, very unique. It was built for us by an American team, Dr. Greg Berman. He was a physicist from NASA. And
Oh,
when
yeah,
we-
yeah, 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 yeah.
And when we went on pension, he brought us the technology for the scrolls. He said, if we're taking pictures of the scrolls already, let's do it all the way with the multispectral technology.
Yeah, yeah,
So we
right.
have all aspects of minerals and chemicals, all the substances involved.
Right.
So that's
Wow.
the room.
Wow. That's amazing.
This should hold. Yeah.
Is it far enough over? Just bounce.
Yeah, not cool.
Okay. It's enough for this.
Zechariah chapter 9, verse 9 says, Rejoice greatly, O daughter of Zion. Shout, O daughter of Jerusalem. Behold, thy king cometh unto thee. He is just and having salvation, lowly, and riding upon an ass, upon a colt, the foal of an ass. This is an amazing prophecy, very important prophecy, but most people never talk about it or understand it. So I'm going to go through and define it for you, some parts of it. First of all, it says there's one coming. He's the king. Exactly who are they talking about? They're saying he's the king. He is the one that is just. The Hebrew word here for just is Sadiq. It's actually a title for the priests and things. It's the ones who is righteous, holy, and this is the one who is the most just of all. Romans 3:25 says, whom God has set forth to be the propitiation through faith in his blood, to declare righteousness for the remissions of sins. So who's the one that's bringing righteousness? The only one that can bring righteousness is the Messiah. He's also the same one that comes riding upon a donkey and the colt of a donkey. Well, we know in the New Testament from Matthew, I'm sorry, I got all this written down trying to hold on my notes so they don't blow away. Matthew 21:5 and John 12, this was fulfilled when Jesus rode into the old city we call the triumphal entry. He told the disciples, hey, you go up here, you'll find a donkey tied up with his colt with him. Tell the master that I need the donkeys. And then he rode into the city we call the triumphal entry a week before he was crucified. So who's this one? And the text also says he's the one that's having salvation. It's interesting. Not bringing salvation. He's the one having salvation. And this is partly a word play because the word for salvation in the Hebrew is Yeshua. Joshua, but it's also Jesus. So who's the one having salvation? There's only one that has salvation. Not the one who brings it, but the one who has it. That's Jesus. So this prophecy is talking about Jesus. Now it says, now let's look at another aspect of this passage. When will he be coming? He says, Rejoice greatly, O daughter of Zion. Shout, O daughter of Jerusalem. Behold, thy king cometh unto thee. So the one having salvation, the one riding on the donkey, that's not when he's coming. They're just identifying him as the one that rode on the donkey and the one that brings salvation, or that has salvation. That's Jesus. He says to the tower of the flock, he said, he's coming to you. Okay, which time? Which time is Jesus coming here? The first time or the second time? And you know the answer. The answer is yes. Jesus came to this place twice. The first time, and he's coming back here the second time. So where exactly is he coming? Now, Zechariah 9:9 says, Rejoice greatly, O daughter of Zion. Shout, daughter of Jerusalem. Who is the daughter of Zion? That's the million-dollar question. Or where or what is the daughter of Zion? Well, the Bible tells us in Micah chapter 4, verse 8, And thou, O tower of the flock, the stronghold of the daughter of Zion, unto thee shall it come, even the first dominion, the kingdom shall come into the daughter of Jerusalem. So the tower of the flock is the stronghold of the daughter of Zion. So what's the stronghold of Zion? We were there yesterday. Alex is here with me, part of my team. Dan's here with me. He's a good old Hoosier boy. And Les is here, and you all know Les, right? Les is sitting right here. He was with us Sunday. And so yesterday we walked through the old city all the way through. We went from the Mount of Olives. We had to park on the backside because we couldn't find a place to park. And so I'd walk up the mountain, all the way down the Mount of Olives to the Kidron Valley, to Stephen's Church. Found out we needed to go to an office on the other side, so we had walked all the way up Stephen's Gate, all the way through the city in 110-degree heat, and then all the way to the Joppa Gate, then past the Joppa Gate. But by the Joppa Gate is this huge, massive fortress. Now, yeah, it's been added on to and it's been fixed up, but this huge fortress, and that is called David's Citadel. So when David was king, he built this special small castle palace, if you will, a citadel, where if things got really bad, they go there because he's the king. He's safe. It's a fortress. It's a safe place you can't break into. You can break maybe into the old city if you get through it, but you can't break in here. It's the fortress. So what does Micah 4:8 say the daughter of David's citadel is? Of course, it's where David was born, which is the tower of the flock, the Migdal Eder. And then he says he's going to be born in the place that's the daughter of Jerusalem. Where's the daughter of Jerusalem? Where was Jesus born? Bethlehem Ephrata. So Jesus came to the tower of the flock at Bethlehem Ephrata the first time. Jesus is coming back here the second time as well. So when Jesus comes back, he's coming first to this place. Then he'll stop at the tabernacle, pick up the Ark of the Covenant, go to the Kidron Valley, create a great earthquake. And I think I figured out why Jesus does the earthquake. Because we've got all those silly tombs in the way. Everybody said, I'm so important, I'm going to be buried right in front of the Eastern Gate. The Muslims said, we'll be buried in front of the Eastern Gate so Jesus the Messiah can't come back. Literally is what they said. You think those tombs are going to stop Jesus the Messiah? No, the earthquake's going to split the mountain. Gihon Spring, we said this on Sunday, the Gihon Spring's going to go nuts. It's going to pour out water and wash all those tombs away. So Jesus can take the Ark of the Covenant in through the Eastern Gate because he's the Messiah. Jesus came here the first time. I believe Jesus left from here. Now we know in Acts chapter 1 that it says, well, Jesus left from the Mount of Olives. Well, the Mount of Olives is not a mountain, it's a mountain range. And you that were with me before, Mount Scopus is the north edge of Jerusalem, is the north end of the Mount of Olives. How far does the Mount of Olives go south? To right here. This, where I'm sitting, is the south edge of the Mount of Olives. Jesus came here, Jesus left from here, and Jesus is coming back here to the Tower of the Flock. Very important site. So the Tower of the Flock is only mentioned twice in the Bible. It's mentioned in this passage in Micah, and it's mentioned in connection to Rachel. So if we find the Tower of the Flock, it has to be in Bethlehem Ephrata. It has to be near Rachel's tomb, and it has to be on the Mount of Olives. All of those places only intersect in one point. And that's where I'm sitting right now. Can everybody still see me? Can you still hear me? Okay, good. Did you go to sleep? You sound quiet. Okay. So, what I wanted to show you and share with you now is our research and studies. Actually, I have found 2 old, really old pictures of the Tower of the Flock. It was torn down just a few years ago, maybe 75 years ago or so. I think we've tracked it down. I'm not going to tell you about that right now, but I think we've tracked it down, and we have to bring it back because this is where the Messiah is coming to first, the Tower of the Flock. So we've been looking today, more work, more research, and I think we found the exact place where it stood. And it's right in front of me. I'm sitting on the stones which have been on the back edge of the Tower of the Flock. So I want to share with you today, this is where Jesus came to. This is the Tower of the Flock. This is where Jesus is coming back. Right here, this spot where the Tower of the Flock. The Tower of the Flock was a huge round, well, it started out round, went to square at the top, watchtower. And it overlooked the Shepherd's Field Valley. It was a Tower of the Flock. The Shepherd's Field Valley is a natural place to graze sheep and goats, mostly goats. And everybody knows this is the Shepherd's Field Valley. So what I'm going to do now for everybody, before I finish, I want to take you around. I'm going to try to hold my phone because we're on Facebook something. I don't know what it is. Bobby just called me. And I'm going to try to hold my phone like a selfie, and I'm going to walk you around so that you can see this. Now, I'll tell you, don't be too disappointed. I got here the other day, and somehow the fields got burned. So it's okay because there's naturally wheat on the ground, a lot of thorns, a lot of briars, some scrub bush, a lot of hyssop. Smell the hyssop. I wish you could smell the hyssop with me. It's beautiful. But the valley got burned, and so it may look a little brown in the background, not right where I'm at, but way back. I'm going to take you. And so if this is the Tower of the Flock, we should have several things. We should have Rachel's tomb. We met with the archaeologists today, that's all I'm going to say. Met with them, they're doing some work on it. Rachel's tomb's right over here, 135 feet away. We should have the place where Christ was born. It's right over here, 145 feet away. We should have a threshing floor of Boaz and Ruth. It's over there. We should have David's well, where David said, oh, I wish I had a drink of water from the wells of Bethlehem where I grew up. It's right over there. It's all right here. And even more, if we really got the side and icing on the cake, we should have the manger Jesus was born here in. And it's here. It's here. Does anybody want to see it? No? Okay. I'm going to see if I can do this. Everybody still see me? Rachel's tomb's right behind me. Turn around. Say hi, Alex. There's Alex. There's Dan. There's your buddy Les. And right behind me, right here, is, hey Alex, can you step aside a second? Thanks, sir. See if I can do this at the same time. Can you see, right here's the cut stone. This is where the Tower of the Flock stood. It was one of the stones they cut, the natural bedrock stone they cut for the Tower of the Flock. We're going to walk up the hill, see if I can do this. I'm walking and holding the camera, so I may wind up tripping and falling. You never know about me. So we're walking up the hill. This is the monastery to my side. This is it. Yes, sir. Little bitty olives. They're not ready yet. I could bring them. Yes, no, thank you, Dwayne. That's good. We have here, this is the church. The first century church built a church here to mark the spot. So nobody would miss it and to protect it. They buried the church leaders around here. To mark this cave. Can you see the cave? That's the cave, according to our research. That's the cave where Jesus was born. Right there. Got it? We'll walk down just a little bit more. I'll show you one more thing before I let you go. The one thing you can do the invitation and finish up the service. Thank you everyone for being patient with me, bearing with me. Thank you for praying for me. God worked miracles on this trip. Things that could not happen. God's opened doors, but unbelievable. Unbelievable things that should happen. Oh, I love you guys. Oh, it's an honor, privilege. Dan, can you hold my phone? I'm going to see if I can get this back a little further. Okay, tilt it down. There, good. Tilt it down just a hair, Dan. Lid just a tiny bit more. Aha! Can you see it? Down just a smidgen. My foot is on. Probably shouldn't put my foot on, should I? This is an ancient stone manger. It's old. Found here on this site, right by where Jesus was born. We believe this is the manger Jesus was born in. I know it's rough, it's old, it's ugly. It's definitely a manger. And it's definitely found on this site. All right, you guys enjoy that? I hope it was a blessing to you. Thank you very much. I love all of you. I'll see you soon. I'll be back in a few days. And I'll see you soon. Joyce Thompson, is Joyce there?
And now we've come to David's well. And Alex is going to draw water out of David's well. Man, that thing's heavy. Oh, for a drink of water.
Yeah, look at that.
From the gates
Yeah, all kinds of trash in there.
of
Yeah.
Bethlehem Ephrata. From home.
It's actually should be okay. Man, I should have done this at Abraham's.
Where are we, Dan? Where are we?
Ramah Raquel.
Ramat Raquel. But where are we? Ramat's the high point, right? The highest point around. From here you can see everything. But everything in history revolves around the Ramahs. Yeah? So
Because?
at the bottom of the hill, what do you see? Dan? What do you see at the bottom of the hill? Right here. We were there yesterday.
Yeah.
Katisma,
Katisma.
which is Zelzak.
Zelzak.
So now we have our GPS points, right? Zelzak, Katisma, come up the hill. At the top of the hill, here's the Ramah. Let's come over this way. And if we cut down the trees and we cut down the buildings, what's down here?
Rachel's tomb.
Rachel's tomb with Bethlehem Ephrata. Oh, all on the base of Ramat Raquel, right?
Raquel. Yep.
Now let's go see it. The Ramat. Through the rooms.
We're going to the highest point first, you say.
Yes, sir. Or the outlook over the highest point. 6-day war shelter.
Uh-huh.
And the bomb shelter.
1967.
Sir. This is a memorial to Aaron Gell, which war hero from the 6-day war. I don't remember most of it, to be honest with you. It was important. But I don't know.
Here we have a pile of rocks around a tree.
Yeah, that's his memorial.
The memorial.
Decoration of his memorial. And now from here we see what? Sean Turner. And lots of Sean Turners.
Yeah.
We see the soccer stadium.
That's right over there where our hotel is, huh?
Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah.
We're right over here. One of those buildings poking up to our hotel.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're right over here. Soccer stadiums. Bob Kraft bought the old one. Patriots trained there. All that good stuff. You see the tower?
Yeah, that was the tower next to it.
Yes. Yes. So, your question is, why go see Samuel? because he's a prophet. He has a crystal ball. Does he know the crystal ball? No. He could see him from here. He could see it from here. He saw the donkeys from there. See? He
So-
might have had some ancient type of telescope or something.
We are then looking at Ramah
Samuel.
Samuel.
Let me think where we're at. It should be that one over there, Alex, actually. I think it's that one.
Yeah.
Clear over there. That should be.
Yep.
Yeah, it should be over there. Okay. But now that we have these buildings in our way, but what do we see from here? Right here. What do we see?
Dome of the Rock.
The Dome of the Rock, the Temple Mount.
Temple Mount.
4 miles straight south. Actually, 4 miles straight south is over right there, where we were. Okay.
What is 4 miles straight south?
Bethlehem Ephrata,
Which is point again.
which is right down the hill here.
Okay.
Okay, that's straight south. We're just a little bit west of straight south. There's the temple, 4 miles away. So this is the Ramah. Behold, a voice was heard in Ramah, bitter weeping and wailing, Rachel weeping for her children because they were not. So why did God mention the Ramah? It wasn't just a euphemism that, it's a GPS marker, but people say, it's at the city of Ramah. We have to find the city of Ramah. There is no city of Ramah. I understand today there's a city up north they call Ramah. There's one much like it they call Ramallah. Somebody gave it that name. That's not a Ramah. Everybody knows that around here in ancient times, the Ramah is the highest point around.
Highest point.
From here we can see everything. So if you're traveling and you want to get your bearings and locations, where do you go? You climb the
Ramah.
Ramah. Then you can see the plains of Mamre. You can see.
So we're looking at the plains of Mamre.
Not here. The
Not
Ramah
here.
down south, you see the plains of Mamre.
What are these plains? You know.
Now this is just Jerusalem. This is the heart of Jerusalem. This is the land called over here, the land of Moriah. Okay, once you see the landscape, the stone, the ancient bare rock, you'll never forget it. There's only one. So they would climb here. We're going to the land of Moriah. Oh, where's the land of Moriah? We walk up here. Aha. Now I see it.
Just over this ridge.
Yes, so we know this one. We know this valley. If you can, in your mind, strip off all the houses, all the buildings, which it's easier for me to do than you because I've worked here for 20 years, and I remember when most of this was not here. I remember we had a beautiful clear shot of the temple. That building's new, that building's newer, that building's newer, that
Barely see it now.
barely see it now. They weren't there. Most of this was not here then when I started 20 years ago. So it's easier for me to envision the landscape. Then you can see, you mentioned this, Dan, okay? Come here, let me try to imagine this with you. God said, what did God say about Jerusalem? I will write my
Name.
How did God do that? Forever. That means no man can change
Forever.
it.
Yeah.
No man can change it. How did God write his name?
Into the topography.
And what is the name?
Yahweh. Well, the Shema.
Shem. We're
Yeah,
looking
Shem.
for Sheen, right?
Shin. Yep.
Sheen. So you can see here, the Kidron Valley is just right at the Temple Mount. See how it goes down there between that row of trees? Kind of barely see the edge of the valley. Comes down there. Then you've got the valley over here is behind the tower, unfortunately. So you got this valley, and you got the valley that comes up the middle. They all meet here just below on the other side of Sean Turner's tower. If you know what it looked like, you know where it is, you can kind of see, but you can see how God ruled it like this.
Yeah.
And in the middle, he stamped his name.
Stamped his name.
Should have a great view from
The Shem.
Sean. Exactly.
And we
even
get the
today,
Hashim.
It's still there. You can't change that. God
Forever.
did that.
Yeah.
Forever. So this is Ramah. So what happened here? Well, this is the city of Bethlehem. It's also called Gilo. It's also called the Southern Judean King's Palace. It's all the same place. We need to understand that. We have nicknames. Indianapolis, the city of Indians. What's that mean? I have no clue. It's also called the Circle City because every truck driver knows it's a circle city. Why? Because instead of a square downtown, we have a circle, the first roundabout, one of the first roundabouts in America, middle of Indianapolis, the Circle City. So we have nicknames.
It's called Indy.
Everybody, it depends who's there. We're another people. We're not these people. We're another people. So we're going to give it our own name. We don't want their name. We give it our own name. Okay, yeah, Indy. So we have different names.
Give me
So-
the names again for here.
This is Gilo. This is the real Gilo right here. This is also the southern Judean king's palace was here. This is also called today Ramat Raquel.
So the Southern King's Palace as a retreat or as a safe haven or?
No. Rehoboam's palace. I'll take you there.
Okay.
I'll take you there in a minute. I'll tell the story again. of
Oh,
Rehoboam.
okay.
And it's also called in the Bible we know well as Bethlehem, the city of Bethlehem. Not the farm village, that's Bethlehem Ephrata. Ephrata means fruit or food. So the Bethlehem of Ephrata, the Bethlehem of fruit or food, the Bethlehem of Judah. Why does the Bible say Jesus was born in Bethlehem of Judah? You say, well, because there's one up north. No. There's a more modern city, not as old as this, that they call Bethlehem, but no, he's not talking about that. He's saying Bethlehem of Judah, which is the farm village down the hill, not Bethlehem the city, which is up here. That's where we are, because this is in the tribe of Benjamin. How can this be in the Benjamin? We'd be at the bottom, we'd be in Judah, because the borderline goes right between. Because the story of Oxa, Caleb's daughter, right? You need the story of Oxa.
Yeah, give it to me.
Okay. 2 men got to come in the promised land. Joshua the son of Nun and Caleb the son of Jephunneh went to spy out the land flowing with milk and honey. You'll never forget it now. Okay? So they settled the land. Nobody can change the boundaries, the borderlines between the tribes, except Joshua and Caleb. Why? Because they were the 2 spies that were the faithful ones. So God gave them the privilege to take the best land you want, and if you need to change boundaries, you can. Caleb had no sons, he had a daughter. His daughter inherited everything. She inherited the land. She goes riding up to her dad on her donkey. And she says, the father says, "What can I do for you, my dear daughter?" "Dad, I love the land you gave us, but we have no water." So then the next verse says, then he gave her the upper and lower Gileot, the springs. Solomon's pools are right over there. Beautiful, still run today, still full of water today. Springs that won't stop. But the borderline originally was on the other side, closer to Hebron. And then when Caleb moved the borderline, he moved it up and moved it all the way up here. You won't put the borderline right on the edge of the water, because enemies attack or neighbors attack, they'll just sneak over the border and get your water. So you got to get a buffer. He brought the buffer right up to here. So originally, that Bethlehem was in Benjamin. But then they moved the borderline because of Oxa, and then moved it up. So now the borderline runs right between the city of Bethlehem and the farm village of Bethlehem.
And Oxa is the daughter.
The daughter. And so that fulfills the prophecy about the Messiah coming from the tribe of not Benjamin, not necessarily, not meaning of the family line, but of the territory. Where was he born? He was born in Bethlehem of Judah, right down the hill. And so that borderline moved to fulfill prophecy. So we have Bethlehem Benjamin, Bethlehem Judah, Bethlehem the city where the palace was, the walls was, the rich people lived. Bethlehem the farm village. Who else was here? Boaz was here. Boaz lived here because he was wealthy. He had a lot of money, but his farm, his business is down the hill in Bethlehem Ephrata, where the fields were and the threshing floor was, etc. Yeah? And then when Boaz wanted to redeem the kinsman redeemer right, he comes up to the gates of the city. I'll show you that in a minute. He comes up to the gates of the city and takes off his shoe to redeem the kinsman redeemer rights. He is known as the man with one shoe, because everybody knew he exercised the kinsman redeemer right to redeem Ruth for himself. Okay, so Boaz was here. Who else was here? One of my favorite stories. Yesai was here. Jesse thought he was a big shot. Family's from down there. But man, he made it, because now he's living in where the palace would be. He's living in the city with the rich people and the walls and the protection and all the luxuries. And then one day he kind of goes crazy. He's worried about this Moabite curse. Now, technically the Moabite curse will not affect him, but he wasn't thinking clearly.
So explain Moabite curse again.
Okay, the Moabite curse. So when when Moses came in to the promised land, and Joshua and Moses were bringing the children of Israel into the promised land, they're coming up the other side of the Jordan. They go into the Jordan of Moab, the territory of Moab, and they go into Moab, and Moses said, now Moses didn't get to come to the promised land. He died before that, Mount Nebo. So right before that, they're coming up with the people. Moses said to the leader of Moab, let us sit down. Just let's sit down. We're hot. We're tired. We've been walking a long way. And give us a drink of water, please. They said, no, you guys move along. We're worried. If we are nice to you, we're afraid other people will come against us. We'll have war. Not here. So then Moses turns to the people and says, fine. You know what? When we get in the land and God blesses us, you can marry the Hittites. You can marry the Perizzites. You can marry anybody. The Canaanites. You can marry anybody. But not the Moabites. They're cursed with an everlasting curse. They can never be part of the family of God. Nobody can remove that curse except God. And that's exactly what he did, and he does, and he did for me. Love the story. So Ruth can't be. No, you cannot be part of God's people. So she comes here after her husband dies, after Naomi goes to her husband, Elimelech. My God is king, is what his name means. My God is king, and I live in the city of the house of bread. But there's a famine. And my God that's king in the house of bread can't provide for me. So I'm going to go over to the Moabites. That didn't turn out too well. They go over there, sells where he shouldn't have been. He should have stayed and trusted God. Goes over there, has 2 sons, Machlon and Kilion. Weak and sickly. One was named Weak, one was named Sickly. Why would you name your boys Weak and Sickly? I have no idea, but it turned out true. Okay? They both grow older, they get married, no kids, they die young. Now what we do? So there's Ruth and Orpah. Orpah and Ruth say, we're going to stay with you, Nachmi. We're going to go with you wherever you go. We'll die where you. And et cetera. And said, but she said, no, you go home. If I had more sons, by the time they got old to marry, you'd be old ladies. And it's not going to work. Go back and try again. And so Orpah said, okay. But Ruth said, no. I'm going to go where you go. Your people, my people. Your God, my God. The word people, is not a people. It's always a people in the land. The people with the land. The land's always included in the idea of the people and their land together. It's about the land. It's about the land. And your people in land, my people in land. Your God, my God. You die, I die. Where you're buried, I'll be buried. Okay, let's go home. They come back here. It's Naomi. No, not so happy anymore. It's been bad. Call me bitter. Call me bitter. And then she gives Ruth the directions, goes out. You know the love story of Ruth and Boaz. And Boaz comes up here and exercises kinsman redeemer rights right up here because he lived here.
At the gates.
At the gates. Then you have the story of Jesse. Now Jesse's up here. He's a big shot. He has 7 sons. But he's worried about the Moabite curse. He kind of went crazy. He said, So he took his wife Nisevitz, and he divorced Nisevitz. He didn't divorce her, but he divorced her. He sent her away, is what they called it. He sent her to live in the barn. No. He sent her to live at the tower of the flock, and sent her away. So Jesse, 7 sons, sends Nisevitz away. In the story.
So he is concerned of the Moabite curse because he's a descendant of the
It doesn't make sense.
a Moabite curse.
It doesn't make sense.
He couldn't get away from that.
But he thought if he divorced his wife, he would.
But he's assuming the identity when it wasn't necessary because God had redeemed Ruth.
Exactly.
But he assumed it out of his own whatever.
Exactly.
And is concerned enough to divorce his wife. And that's going to fix the problem?
And that'll fix the problem. No, it won't.
Okay.
Only God can redeem you. You can't redeem yourself. You can do all you want to. You can't redeem. Only God can redeem you. He thought he could redeem himself. Of course he did. Look at him. And so he sends Nisevitz away. End of story. Until one day, a few years later, Yesai becomes lonely. He misses the companionship. So he sends word down to the tower of the flock to his wife's handmaid, Netzevet's handmaid, and said, "Be ready tonight. I'm going to come visit you tonight." And so he did. He went down and visited his wife's handmaid. It's dark. Can't see. He gets what he wants. He comes home. End of story. Until.
And where are the references?
Halmakut Makiri, the Jewish history book, tells it very, very well. Other sources refer to it. I like Makiri's because it's the best, in my opinion, my favorite. Okay. So then Netzevet's, Jesse's wife that he put away, she grows a bubble. She's pregnant. You know what everybody said. She played the harlot. She played the harlot. She didn't play the harlot. They did a Rachel and Leah. Jesse didn't sleep with his handmaid, his wife's handmaid. He slept with his wife. You know the difference. He only wanted one thing. He got what he wanted. He leaves. Now she's pregnant. She has a baby boy. His name is David. And everybody hated him because he was born with a reputation. He's the bastard son. And David grows up down the hill in the shepherd's field. End of story. Until one day, the prophet comes from over here. Where is he? Over here. The prophet comes.
Ramah Samuel.
Samuel, yes, the prophet comes. And he comes over here. The prophet's coming. Get ready, prophet's coming. Everybody gets cleaned up. They put their nice clothes on because the prophet's coming. He's coming here to do sacrifices. Why not there? Why is he coming here? Don't know. Something special. He's on a mission from God. He comes here to do sacrifices. He comes to Yesai's house. Jesse's thinking, woo-hoo-hoo. It's about time somebody realized how important I am. I'm living in a city. I'm out of that farm. I'm a big shot now. He's coming to see me. It must be important. The prophet comes in and says, Yesai, God has sent me to anoint your son to be the next king of Israel. Bring your sons. Here they are. Here's all 7. The prophet says, nope. Hey, Jesse, we got a problem here. You got another son somewhere. Boys look at their dad like, this old prophet's gone crazy. He doesn't know what he's talking about. Jesse says, yeah, I do. My son's the bastard boy down the hill at the tower of the flock. That is my son. Oh, the boys are mad. The boys are livid. The boys go crazy. The prophet says, I am not going to sit down until he comes. You must send for him. So they sent for him with carrier pigeons. How do we know? Because there's a dovecote right over here. There's a dovecote that matches it at the threshing floor down the hill. Sends a carrier pigeon.
A dove coat?
Yeah, where they kept the doves, little pigeon, carrier pigeons. Okay? Got the holes for them. Their little nest thing. Send the carrier pigeon, send the message, send him up. Send David up here. David comes up. And the bastard boy walks in, the brothers with the rage and fury in their eyes and the anger in their face. And the prophet looks at him and says, Hail, thou mighty King of Israel. And that's our God. He always takes the least, the ones the world hates, the ones that God has molded in humility and submission to him and obedience to him. And God takes them from here and puts them here. And God takes these that are here and puts them here. Does he not? I love this story. The story of Jesse. It happened here. This is a very important place. Now, what else happened here? Well, we'll talk about when we get over there.
So
What else happened here?
Let me put you on pause a minute.
Sure.
Because I can edit this out.
Sure.
But can you spell the resource for me?
Which one?
The one you mentioned?
Halmakut Makiri?
Yeah.
Hamalchut, Makiri, I'm trying to spell it in English. Michiri.
Is it English source or Hebrew?
English. They've got to translate in English.
Okay.
Yeah, you can look it up on the internet. Easy.
Okay.
Halmakut, Malkut,
Yeah.
Malkut, of Makiri. Makiri.
Okay.
It's CH in English. But
So,
Makiri.
yeah. Another little thought is Samuel comes looking for a descendant that can connect with Saul as a Benjaminite. Lo and behold,
Yeah.
he's got the kid from Judah because God put the spin on him.
Yes.
Right there is
Yes.
when God shifted from Benjaminite
God
to
showed up.
Judah. Messiah
Yes.
was going to be from Judah.
Yes, because God said that.
But God showed up.
Yes. Just like this week, God showed up.
Yeah.
I don't know these people. You don't know these people. I don't know you. You show up. Here we are. Here he is. Here he is. They keep showing up. God brings them. God did that. God's assembling his people now, and you can't deny it.
Yeah.
If you deny it, you're crazy. That's brilliant. That's brilliant. It's brilliant, Dan. Brilliant. I love it. Love it. Brilliant. That's why the prophecy of Bethlehem of Judah is so important.
Yeah.
God's hands all over it. It shouldn't have been Judah. It should have been Benjamin. It was
The high
said to be
place, the important place. No, God says, I'm going to the outside field. Lowly place.
Exactly. Exactly. God takes the least to do the most. What does Zechariah 6 say about the rebuilding of the temple? Who builds the temple? The priests. What, the Jews build the temple? What's Zechariah 6 say? Yeah, the temple will be rebuilt, but those that are from afar come to build the temple.
Zechariah 6. You know the verse?
I think verse 6 or 9, I can't remember. It's right in there somewhere. I just read the whole chapter.
Question: when you said connecting the land to the people, how they're always connected. What is
Love
the phrase
that.
you used?
Ayin.
That's the
Ayin,
Hebrew word.
Maim. Yes,
So-
Hebrew word.
So, is that the thing that defeats the argument that's shared by a lot of cultural Christianity that, for instance, there are more Jews in America than in their land? God can save the Jews from theirs.
No doubt.
So that is that point that you just made.
Absolutely. It's the land. Why this land?
It's about God, not about the Jews. So he wrote his name here, which is the same argument for Golgotha.
Exactly.
He says, I'm going to show you the hill.
Exactly.
It's my hill. Why? It's not because it's a pretty hill.
It's not the
hill
Catholic
doesn't even
Church's
look
hill.
like a hill.
It's not the Catholic Church's hill. It's not Gordon's hill. It's God's hill. This is God's land.
Where he reveals himself.
And this is our inheritance. Not that God's going to die, because God's not going to die. That's our birthright as God's people. We're in Denver. Question comes up. I'm on the panel. I haven't even spoken yet. So what can we do to help the Jews in Israel? Wait a minute. Who are the Jews? I go through the whole Bible defining Ruth. It's one of the stories I tell. We are. If you're God's people, you're a Jew. You may not be an Israeli. You may not be a Hebrew, but you are a Jew.
Because Hebrew is culture, Israeli is nationality, Jew,
Is belief.
relationship.
Relationship. Exactly. Exactly. That's what we have to get out. Nobody else is doing it. It's on us right here.
So, Alex, give that spin again on Golgotha as God's hill.
So,
That's revealing. The
When-
revealing piece.
when God tells Abraham to take Isaac to the land of Moriah, to the hill that I will show you, he's specific about that, to the hill. So if no one disputes that the Temple Mount is that hill where Abraham offered Isaac. But at the end of that narrative, after the ram was provided, it says, on this hill it was provided, and on this hill it will be provided. So there's this foreshadowing as bookends, with Isaac being the opening bookend of the sacrificial system, Jesus being the closing bookend of the sacrificial system, with all of the temple sacrifices in between. Then when you come over here to these official sites of where's Golgotha, you get this claim that it's northwest of Mount Moriah, completely unrelated. And then the question is, so does God care about the shadow, the hill that was meant to be the bookend in the middle of the sacrificial system, rather than the thing to come, the culmination of the sacrificial system. Oh, so God cared so much about this hill, and then he just stopped caring, and he decided, hey, some dude in the 1800s is going to like this place up here northwest because he thinks it looks like a skull even though it doesn't. So in that idea, you then run into that wall of, did God make a mistake? And if he did, is there a precedent on which God establishes that he does care about land specifically? Well, yes, he wrote his name in Jerusalem, and yes, you have Bir Kut, as you have all these themes, names of Christ, coming back on a postage stamp. So we have a precedent established. So could God have forgotten? And whoops, I lost Golgotha. It was just some random hill that's completely inconsequential. Or should Golgotha actually be part of Mount Moriah? And it should.
So let me ask you a question, Alex. Does the hill matter? Does the right rock matter?
100% not because of the rock. Same as we matter not because of us, but because the Spirit of the Father in us that he gave to us and the fact that he redeemed us by Christ. We matter because of Christ, not because of us.
We matter because
The hill matters because of Christ. This is where he tabernacled in a way. It's where God revealed himself to his people in part of that process. And so how can it be the wrong one? And the Catholic site is on the wrong side of the city.
sites matter, words matter, definitions matter.
And that Mount Moriah, we can see Dome of the Rock from here. What relationship is that in the Shem?
That is between.
It's on the first
It's between these two fingers in the Shem. So, Kidron Valley.
Kidron, Bethesda, Hinnom. Where's the Hinnom Valley? It's far away from God. That's why God uses the picture.
So what I'm looking at is in between your...
Right here. Kidron Valley is just to the right of it. We walked through the Kidron Valley 2 days ago, remember?
Mhm.
It's just to the right of the temple. It's here. City of David's here. City of David's right here where the Bethesda and Kidron come together. And the Hinnom also comes, and we drove by the Hinnom Valley going to the Ir David the other day. They all come together right here. Interesting.
So is Hinnom the ridge line or the valley specifically?
These markers are some artistic form they came up with. Built this to mark what we believe are the four corners, roughly four corners of the palace. So the palace stood here. And anytime you see one down there, Dan, there's one over there, there's one over there. This was the palace. We'll talk about the palace here in a second.
The dock.
Sure.
Oh, God.
It's nice. It's nice. A second. Okay, so we're at the palace at Ramat Raquel on top of the hill. Why was there a palace here? Was there a palace here in Boaz's time? No palace. It's a city. It's a walled city. Wealthy people. How'd the palace end up here? Because David built a palace in Jerusalem. First Hebron, then Jerusalem and Ir David. Why is the palace here? Because David was a great man. Built a great kingdom. He had a son. Wisest man that ever lived. Built a mighty empire. He had a son. Rehoboam. He's a fool. Rehoboam got to be king. He lined up his counselors, his dad's old men. He lined up his young friends. He said, okay, guys, now that I'm king, how should I approach this thing? The old men said, take it easy on the people. Your dad taxed them to death. You go easy on them, they'll be loyal to you, they'll love you forever. The young guy said, are you kidding? Show them who's boss. Rehoboam stands up in front of the kingdom of Israel, says, you think my dad was strong? He thought he was powerful and mighty and mean and a hard ruler? He said, I have more strength in my pinky than he had in his loins. The northern king says, you know what, your son-in-law's kid, we don't need you, we're out of here. Two southern kingdoms, Benjamin and Judah, said, you know what, we'll stay with you. But your dad was a great guy and you're a jerk. So you cannot sit where your dad sat. You have to move the palace over the hill. He moved the palace over the hill to this hill. So under Rehoboam, the palace was here for a while before it went back to, before the Assyrian invasion under Hezekiah, before it went back to the temple. So it was sat here for a while. How do we know? Because here was found what's called the La-Melech seals. La-Melech, La-Lamet, to Melech, king, to the king. And all the La-Melech seals have different stamps on them, but they say La-Melech, to the king from Hebron, to the king from Giah, to the king from Mamshit, to the king from Sukkot. All these southern Judean cities. Why would he have all these pot handles? Because if this is where the palace was, this is where they brought the taxes. They didn't have money for it. They didn't use money back then. They paid the taxes in olive oil, in grain, things like that. So they bring the pots here, put the pots here. Here's our taxes, here's our taxes. Bring them to the palace. Tons of the Lamelech seals were found here to the king, indicating the palace was here. And they dug, and guess what? The ruins of an ancient palace was here. So this was found here. This is not an original, this is a reproduction. The original is actually right over here in the museum. This was found here. What is this? This is the icon or the marker of David's kingdom, David's city. Not his whole kingdom. Israel was the kingdom, but his city specifically, the city of David. Okay, what is this shape? Some archaeologists, as Alex well pointed out, up north they have this icon a lot, and they call it the Aeolic icon, which has historical significance to it. Long story, another story. That's not this. This is slightly different. So Moshe Dayan was digging here. Actually, someone else had dug here, found it. They found a head. Not a real head, a stone head. You know, like a bust. There's just a head. They didn't know what it was. Reports say it came from down the hill at Bethlehem Ephrata. Okay, it was sold into the Bedouin territories. Moshe Dayan found the story as soon as after the 6-Day War. Moshe Dayan went and bought it. It's the head of David. It's the bust, if you will. Statue of David. We know what David looked like. It's in the Israeli Museum. But what was on this guy's head? An Ammonite crown. This is a marker, a symbol of the Ammonite crown with the scrolls on the side, the little triangle in the middle. His head would go here. Why in the world would David have an Ammonite crown on his head?
Because he conquered them.
When he conquered the Ammonites, he set the Ammonite crown on his head because it was really heavy. It was made of a lot of gold. Okay? This is the marker of the city of David. These emblems, icons have been found in the city of David, but guess what? It's also found here. And a few years ago, they found the capital marker, down on the other side of the valley of Bethlehem Ephrata, the real Bethlehem Ephrata. So why would David's kingdom or David's city markers be there, here, and there? We say, I found the city of David. I love Eli Shukran, dear friend of mine. I owe a great debt to him. I learned archaeology under his leadership. Okay? But we found this Ir David, and it's a little 5-acre plot. We assume that's Ir David. My question is, and that was part of inside the walled city, but was that all of the city of David? Is it possible the city of the greatest king in the history of mankind was 6 miles long? I don't say it's possible, I say it's probable. And since the markers of his king were all around here, that make this the city of David. We know the palace was in the city of David. We know that's up by the Temple Mount. We know from the book of Luke that Jesus was born in Bethlehem Ephrata, the city of David. How can you have 2 cities of David? My good friend Stephen Corey says, there's 2 cities of David. No, I say there's 1 city of David. It was one big city marked by that. It was found here and found down there. 6 miles long, we don't know how wide. So that's the significance. The palace was here at one point in time. The other side. Standing in the gates of ancient Bethlehem, where Boaz took off his shoe to redeem the kinsman redeemer rights of Ruth, and became known as the man with 1 shoe. These are the gates from after Boaz's times that we're looking at. The gates from Boaz's time are below here, just below here, down here, down here. These are the gates right here, where Boaz exercised, where he redeemed Ruth.
Turn and get context. Just to get context to where the
part of Ramat Raquel that nobody talks about and nobody knows because nobody cares. One of my favorites. I don't know. But maybe not. Maybe where the tabernacle sat. I don't know. What is this? Several historical sources write about the monastery, the Byzantine monastery dedicated to the Theotokos in Jerusalem desert.
Where the tabernacle stood.
I don't know.
But you're saying possibly here.
Maybe. Maybe that's why they built the monastery here, maybe not.
Meaning there is a tabernacle simultaneous to Solomon's temple.
No, before that.
Okay.
Before that, below this. Before this was built, long before this was built.
So before the temple's built. All right.
Yes. Under David. Okay, where David said, I don't know, we need more study, more work. With several literary sources, it's well known in archaeology. The archaeologists talk about in Jerusalem, the monastery built in honor of Mary the Theotokos, Mary the God-bearer, Mary the mother of Jesus, in the Jerusalem desert. How can you be in Jerusalem, in the Judean desert? How can you be in Jerusalem and be in the Judean desert at the same time? Only one place. This is considered the Jerusalem district, East Jerusalem. Technically, we're south right here. But this ridge line right here, everything on that side of the hill is not the Judean desert. That's Jerusalem area. Everything this side is the Judean desert. Why? Because this is the Ramah, the highest point. The Mount of Olives builds a ridge that most storms and clouds can't get over. This is the watershed divide. So all the rain goes that way. That side doesn't get very much rain, very little rain. That's desert, this is not, but this is all still the Jerusalem district. So they're still looking for the monastery. Some say that Katisma is the monastery in honor of Mary. It's not a monastery. It's a church, a Byzantine church, because it's 8-sided. Okay? We know what a monastery looks like. Okay? The monastery down the hill at Bir Okut, that's the monastery dedicated to Theodosius, the last Roman emperor of the United Roman Empire. Theodosius II, actually, which would be the first emperor of the divided Roman Empire, and he was the emperor of the Byzantine half of the Roman Empire. Okay, I know there's a lot of monasteries around. This monastery is here. I believe this is the monastery of Mary the Theotokos in the Jerusalem district, but yet in the Judean desert. Nobody really researched it. They found it, they cleaned it off, that was it, left it. Gorgeous mosaics down here. But you see the entrance, see the old thresholds to the monastery here? Looks like something we've seen before. You see the church floor. They found below it even an older church floor, and then they stopped. That was it. We don't know what all was here. We don't know.
Theotokos of Mary.
No, Mary the Theotokos, God-bearer, the one who gave birth to the Savior. Mary the Theotokos. This, I believe, from everything I've read and studied, this very well could be the Mary Theotokos monastery. Because we don't know what this is. Definitely a monastery. Mount Raquel is the Ramah, that this is the highest point and the end point of the Mount of Olives. If you go to Google Earth, you can check the elevations. Here it drops off in the back, it drops off on the sides. Here it drops off a little bit because we're on the Ramah. It drops off a little bit, levels that up, down, all the way across the mountain until you get to Mount Scopus, and there it drops off. All three sides.
And in between here and Mount Scopus is Temple Mount.
Right. This runs up, kind of curves around Jerusalem just a little bit, around the temple a little bit. Mount of Olives curves like this. Temple sets here. Okay? This is the Mount of Olives. Jesus ascended from the Mount of Olives. Well, where on the Mount of Olives? If we follow the typical patterns that God says, in Zechariah 9 says, to the tower of the flock, the stronghold of the daughter of Zion, etc., and the daughter of Jerusalem, which Micah 4:8 defines that. So if you follow that, Jesus came first time and second time to the tower of the flock right down the hill. And he probably ascended from there as well, since he's following the same pattern.
On Mount of Olives.
On the Mount of Olives. Yes, it's on the Mount of Olives. Yes, it's in the city of David. Yes, it's in Jerusalem. Yes, it's in the Judean desert. Yes, all the above. Same thing, because they all merge at that one point. Historical sources were lying.
This is what says the historical. So these corroborate the historical sources. The sources. Okay, that's what I was trying to say. So Queen Helena invented an adversary.
Yes.
Oh, creating your own chaos so you can provide a solution. Queen Helena was the first, can I say it, Democrat? That's good.
Okay, now send the Muslims in, they take over the area, they go to Beit Sahor, because Queen Helena knows Beit Sahor is the one thing that's going to hang her on proof of her sight, so she can control the Christian world. The Muslims say you have to move Beit Sahor from here to over there. You can find good maps of Beit Sahor, old maps. They're almost all scrubbed off the internet now. They call this over here, they say Beit Sahor el Altiqua, the ancient Beit Sahor. Used to be, everybody knew the real Beit Sahors over here. Till now, come down history, nobody cares, everybody forgot. Today, Corbal says, this is the real Bethlehem because Beit Sahor's right here. It wasn't. They moved it. The Muslims moved it because Queen Helena wanted it moved, even though she's dead at that point. To take the credibility, the proof off of this site. How do you change? How do you get rid of the Bible?
Slowly change it over time and let oral tradition
Get
die.
rid of the evidence. How do you get rid of the evidence? Slowly, slowly, slowly. That's why this one site is the key. The key to everything we're doing.
So, help me understand the part where Queen Helena
We gotta go.
specifically